Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Gill, Epic Financial Strategies, and I am in Provo, Utah, hunting success all the time, all day, every day, twice on Sunday. And today, what we're going to talk about is how to become a millionaire with no money and how to put you on the right path to get there. So what's up, folks? It's Rob Gill here, and I am so honored to be here with my guest and, by the way, business partner, Pam Bardhi. What's up, Pam?
What's going on, Rob?
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Thank you for showing up today. This is awesome.
Thanks.
Phenomenal success that Pam is bringing to the table, and the education she's going to provide is world class. Let's start with one thing. Where did you go to college?
So I actually have an interesting background when it comes to that. So I went to Stonehill College for undergrad, then Babson for a year after that, and then to Harvard Business School for real estate development. So it was like a trilogy.
And what happened 30 under 30?
Oh my God. So I got featured in Forbes when I was 27.
Wow, tell the folks a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was absolutely ridiculous. So I basically was headhunted into the Forbes Real Estate Council because they saw all of my achievements in the real estate world. And so I was featured in, and I was just like, oh my God, this is wild.
You know, so what's amazing, thank you for sharing that. And what's really amazing is when you find yourself in circles of influence, right? We always talk about that you want to model after people that have been there and done that, but you also want to make sure that you're modeling after people that are in the space that you're in, right?
Yeah.
So what's interesting as I got to know you, Pam, you didn't grow up in America, right? Your first couple of years, where are you originally from?
Yes, so I was born in Tirana, Albania, and I moved to Rome, Italy when I was about 6 months old, and then moved to the US when I was 5 years old. So
wow.
Yeah, it was a journey.
And you're in the US, you're 5 years old, and your dad, you know, what is the first couple of lessons that you're learning about business and life, and what did those early years look like?
Yeah, so actually my father worked 3 jobs when I was growing up. He couldn't speak English and he didn't have a job lined up when we came here. So he was working things like putting away photos at Kodak. He was roofing. He was, back of house at a restaurant. Like he was doing all these manual labor jobs, and I barely ever saw him. And like, it actually wasn't until 2 years ago, Rob, where my dad told me, he's like, Pam, I used to literally sit in the bathroom and cry because I did not know how I was going to pay the rent. And that's
really?
How I grew up, like on welfare, like for a short amount of time, just so that we could pick ourselves up. I mean, that's what it was.
And where did you grow up?
In Boston.
Okay,
Boston, Massachusetts. Yep.
So you're growing up in Boston on welfare. I'm sure that was a challenge, emotionally in the neighborhood, or just kind of keeping it tight. But it sounds like your family unit was incredible, right?
Yes.
And it led to such massive success later on, which we're going to get into, and Pam's going to share some of her secrets, especially how to become a millionaire with no money out of pocket. But with that being said, I think at a young age you owned and ran a restaurant, right? Isn't that part of the story?
It is part of the story. So my father, after he worked in the restaurant for a while, the owner of the restaurant actually became his mentor, gave him a down payment to go out and buy a business. So my father bought a business. So they developed
a friendship.
Yep. And he told him the way that you build wealth in America is one of 2 ways. A, you own your own business. B, you own real estate. So what my father did was he went out, bought a business, and from there shifted gears and then bought the real estate later, in which the business was in. But basically, I started working there when I was 10. I was literally 10 years old. Don't tell anyone, child labor laws. We don't want to get into all that. But it was amazing because by the time I was 18, I was running my father's store. By the time I was 21, I had 2 of my own restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
So the hustle started young.
Yeah, so for all you folks that are out there, she's talking about the hustle, right? She's talking about proximity. She's talking about modeling. Her dad modeled after the guy that he originally worked for. They developed a good relationship, and then he gets his own restaurant, brings his daughter in. At the age of 10, she starts working there. By the age 18, the elevation continues, and then by the time she's 21, she owns 2 restaurants. And by the way, I think that's just the beginning of the story. Can you tell us what happened next?
Absolutely. So I grew up in the hustle. I grew up in the, normalizing that 12 to 15-hour workday because I believed that I was in full operator mode. I understand that now, but it was like the
Hold
hustle.
on. You just said something. She just said that she was in full operator mode. Can you share what that means for all the folks that are out there?
Yes. So an operator is when you make your business a full-time job. That is an operator, where literally the business owns you, you don't own the business.
Say that one more time, take it, rewind it back.
Being an operator is when your business basically owns you. You don't control your time. You don't control your freedom. You don't control any of that. And what it creates is this crazy whirlwind. And really society normalizes this, Rob. I think you would agree that it's the toxic work culture. Like the more that you're working, the more successful that you are. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
And you discovered this at what age?
I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 21. I was working like 15-hour days at my restaurants. Granted, I had two, that I was bouncing back and forth from. And then my father's on the back end. So there was three that I was like circling around. And, I just kept seeing these real estate developers basically working when they wanted to. And I was like, what the hell is up with this? Like, there's something about this that I don't know about. Then I started hearing things like the average millionaire has seven different streams of income.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, I have two. I'm already failing. So I was like, okay, I need to learn how it is that they do this. And then I started studying the mind, right? Which is all about basically the owner mind, not the operator mind, the owner mind of own a piece of something and have a different revenue stream coming from that and have different revenue streams coming up. That was the key.
First of all, that's truly amazing. And let me just kind of play with that a little bit because, in our space, it's like, okay, how do you become a millionaire or how do you become successful? And we talk about it all the time. It doesn't show up at the front door. No one's going to come rescue you. And at the end of the day, if you're in a pattern, to be able to break that pattern, you got to disrupt it and create a new pattern. And my question for you, because I love mindset, because before you make money, your mind's got to be right.
Absolutely.
Because if it's not right, you ain't going to be able to keep the money. So now all of a sudden, what was it, let's call it the intangible. What was it that drove you, right, to get up at, I'm just going to use this as an example, 6, 5 in the morning to start figuring out the mental side of this piece?
Absolutely. So it was a journey, right? I'm trying to figure out what is this, what is it that these developers have?
She asked the right question, folks. She asked the right question. She didn't say, how come it's not happening to me? She asked,
I'm asking, how does this work for others, right? What is the secret sauce? What is it that makes them so successful that I don't know about? I saw it as knowledge that I just simply didn't have.
Understood.
Awesome. And so I started looking for those answers, because life is really all about logistics, right? You got to just know your what and your why, and the how will come.
That's right.
Right? If you just know your what and your why. And in my mind, I was like, listen, all I want to know is how to make that happen. And I want to be successful so that my parents don't ever have to worry about a thing to make their sacrifice worth it. That's all I wanted. I didn't need to know anything else.
Incredible. So now all of a sudden you're like multiple restaurant owner, but now you're looking at this real estate game and you're like, okay, let me learn how to do this. And what happens next? And remember, we want to share with folks how to, become a millionaire with no money out of pocket.
Absolutely. So basically what I did after that was I started researching all the information I possibly could, went to every single seminar humanly possible, literally just like soaking in all the information.
Oh, you mean it didn't show up for you? You had
no,
to actually go work for it? Okay.
I was hunting. Like we said, we were hunting for
Yes.
this, right? And so what I did was I thought about it and I was like, I need to find a coach. I need to invest in a person who's walked it, talked it, breathes it, lives it, all of that, so that I could hack my time, right? Because if I'm stepping into an industry that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, remember, I came from restaurants and before that, nothing. So my whole life, that's all I knew. And I'm entering into the space of real estate and construction because I wanted to flip.
Well, hold on. For all the smart entrepreneurs out there that either flip or buy or hold kind of folks, I think the distinction she just threw out there was not just buy real estate, but also have a construction license. It sounds like another revenue stream for me somehow, or being able to be able to control your destiny. Can you talk about why you thought about that, who taught you that, and why it's so important to have that distinction when it becomes a real estate guru?
Absolutely. So when it comes to those two realms, right, I knew all I started with was one strategy. So my advice is always start with, real estate can be extremely overwhelming when you're thinking about it. Pick one strategy that's going to be your stepping stone to get to everywhere else. So the way that I decided was I want to be in real estate development. So what does that mean? I want to flip a house. Great. So I need to know not just real estate, but I also need to know construction because I'm walking into a renovation, essentially. So I got to know my stuff on both realms. And then I say, okay, these are the two things that I need. who out there knows how to do this? What coach has played in my market, done exactly what I want to do?
It's the right questions.
And is an expert in these two realms. And then I invested in that coach and literally walked with him side by side for a while.
Without mentioning names,
Yeah.
how much was the investment?
I think it was something around 10 to 15,000,
Yep.
something like that. But then giving up equity on certain projects, the
Un-
first ones that I walked through.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of
And I know
course.
Pam is an affiliate partner of Epic, and Pam, and I'm not going to get into the numbers, but invested into a 6-figure coaching strategy out here in Utah back in the day to tie into her business. So the point I'm trying to make there is investing in your business
Yes.
and investing in your time and being surrounded by the right people
Yes.
that could help you go from here to here, but turning decades into days, creating massive acceleration through, once again, replacing disempowering questions with empowering questions. Then you have somebody that's 30 under 30, Forbes and Ivy League school and multiple business owner.
Yes.
So what does it look like right now?
Yes. So Joseph McLennan was talking about this, and it's further, faster.
Mm.
Coaches get you further, faster.
Mm.
They get you in front of the right people. They give you the right strategies, and then that way you can take it, replicate it, scale it, move it, boom. And it sounds like rocket science, but it really isn't. And I can tell you, and I can promise you this, Rob, when I was thinking about getting a coach and I saw the price tag, I was like,
Yes.
how am I going to pay for this?
Yes.
And I literally had to do a payment plan to start because
Beautiful.
I didn't want to
I
mess
love
my
it.
cash flow
Yep.
with my restaurants.
I love it.
You know, so that investment literally turned into a 9-figure real estate career where I've sold, developed, or acquired over 100 million in real estate assets in the last 8 years. And yes,
Boom.
and Rob was mentioning Forbes. I've been also featured in Time Magazine as a national trailblazer in the real estate realm.
And you also have 100 episodes of your podcast. If you can share
Yes,
that with
and the
all
Underdog
And how can they
podcast.
find you? Please.
Yes. So the Underdog podcast is every single platform, and we're in the top 1.5% of podcasts in the world, and we're streamed in 50 countries right now, and it hasn't even been a year yet, which is crazy.
Listen, we at Epic like to party like Pam Bardhi. You got to go check her out. Let them know how they can check out. What's the best way they can check you out?
Absolutely. LinkedIn, Instagram, find me anywhere. Pamela Bardhi, Bardhi Party. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much. What an awesome job.
Thank you so
I'm so
much.
impressed with everything that you're doing for the world.
You're
Thank you.
amazing.
So we talk about how to become a millionaire with no money. And keep in mind, this channel doesn't cost you any money at all. And every single day we are dropping educational content. We are bringing great interviews that could bring you great information. So understand that let us pay for the channel. Let us invest and come get educated. Go ahead and click that link below. And by the way, if you have any questions, successes, and or comments, feel free to add them in as well.